welcome to your reading. So you may hear some odd noises in the background. It is raining today, which thankfully means my neighbors aren't doing construction today. So I'm actually able to film because of the rain, but hopefully the noise of the rain itself isn't too much of a distraction. Hopefully it's like atmospheric and nice, or you can't hear it at all, but I guess we'll see. Now, I'm really excited about your reading today, especially looking at your spread. So the goal with this reading is to help you get clarity on whatever it is that you're inquiring about. And maybe some of you are just feeling lost and directionless in general in your life. Others of you may have a more specific question, and that's okay. I do just want to say though, this is a general reading. So I think especially with a topic like this, you have to use some discernment about what's your message and what isn't, because everyone could be asking about different things. Okay. So we have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, and how cool is it the way these two cards are mirroring each other? I love that so much. And then we also have the Chariot, we have Dog Spirit, be loyal to what you love. That's actually probably my most favorite card actually in that deck. And then we have Deep Replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. And this card is definitely your message, because when I was shuffling, that card came out on top of a stack of a bunch of other cards, and I was like, oh, they got stuck together. I'm not sure if that's the message. Let me put it back in the deck, reshuffle, and, see. And then it came out again by itself, like it just flew out. So I was like, oh, okay, that's definitely their card, because I felt like maybe that's their card, but I wanted to be certain, and for sure that's your message. So I love that it came out twice for you. Okay, let's get into this. The way this Queen of Cups is mirroring and matching this energy of the King of Cups tells me right now, especially with the Chariot, which talks about you needing to make a decision, you being in the driver's seat, essentially like the ball is in your court, right? Like you are the ringmaster here. You decide which way we go with this. And with Dog Spirit, be loyal to what you love. So I feel like there's something right now or someone that you're being called to. And so the clarity here that you've been seeking, you feel drawn to something or someone or even a place. And you're like, should I pursue this career, or should I pursue this love interest, or should I move to this place that I've always felt called to? This is a matter of the heart, which doesn't have to be romantic, but it's something that's close to your heart. It's something that sort of like your heartstrings are being pulled in this direction. And you're not sure whether it's logical or practical or rational or a good choice, right? I feel like you've been trying to figure out this situation with your mind, and Spirit is saying that's not the way to go about this. Be loyal to what you love. So you feel drawn to this thing or this person or this place. So we are putting you in the driver's seat with the Chariot. You just need to move in that direction. And what you need to move away from is anything that is not sitting well within your heart, anything that doesn't emotionally fulfill you. That's where you need to move away from. Even if it feels on the surface like that's the practical choice or the safe choice or the rational choice, Spirit is saying be loyal to what you love. And notice with this Chariot as well, all of these people here are pulling this carriage. Spirit is saying like you want to be like the ringmaster up there. You want to be in a position where you feel like you have some level of control, right? Like you want to be able to exercise your free will. And when we put ourselves in situations or relationships or circumstances or places where we don't feel like the choice was really ours, you know how sometimes Yes, we made the decision, but it was more so like, well, I felt like that's what I should do, even though it's not what I wanted, or I felt like an obligation, but it wasn't what I really wanted. It's like we made the choice, but if we really allowed the decision to be up to us and what we emotionally wanted within our hearts, that's not the decision we would have made. And so Spirit is saying, stop putting yourself in this lower position in your own life where you're sort of making decisions or choices based upon what you think you ought to do or what you should do or what is expected of you or what other people would approve of, and instead do things that sit well within your heart, because that's not going to lead you astray. And so essentially, if you're doing something out of obligation or, again, should, oughta, whatever, that's where you need to distance yourself. And so essentially here, don't disempower yourself. Don't take away your choice, because you do have a choice. In this particular situation, or maybe just in general in your life, you have more choices available to you than you realize. And what's going to match your energy, what's going to reciprocate your energy, what's going to be worth the investment of your time and your energy and your attention is going to be what your heart is drawn to. And Spirit is saying what you want or who you want or where you want to be wants you back. That's why you feel so called to it. The energy is in alignment. And so you are primed here to receive what you put into this. So if you're brave enough to make the decision to go after this person, place, or thing, whatever you're feeling called to, you are going to have that energy reciprocated. And it's going to fill up your cup here, because the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups coming together like this is, to me, representing the Two of Cups in the Minor Arcana. And this deep replenishment, the way that she is sort of clutching at these flowers sort of looks like to me like I'm holding this, it's mine, but the position of her hands, it's also like an offering, right? And so the idea here and the idea behind the Two of Cups is like, I'm sharing what I have and you're sharing what you have with me. And so it's balanced. It's the energy of reciprocity. It's healthy, right? Because if we give our cup, if we pour our heart into something that doesn't love us back, that doesn't want us back, that, isn't in alignment with us, we end up drained, we end up depleted. And what you need is deep replenishment. You need to be in a relationship or a place or a circumstance, a situation where you will have that replenishment back. You can't keep giving your heart over to people, place, and things that don't resonate with your heart, that don't reciprocate your energy, that don't love you back. Be loyal to what you love. And stop forcing yourself to commit to people, places, and or things that ultimately you don't truly love. You're not even really invested in it anyway. And so the energy is forced. It's not in alignment. And so the best thing you can do for yourself in whatever situation you're in is to be loyal to what you love, is to give your heart over to things that in your mind are worth it, because that's going to put you in alignment. So don't force yourself to go down a path, whether it's love, in your professional life, in your career, in your self-expression, your location where you choose to make your home, to put down roots, or the lifestyle choices that you're making. Don't commit yourself to a path that isn't really in alignment with what your heart wants, because it's not going to love you back. It's going to spit you right back out. So you want to have that alignment, and you want to empower yourself instead of disempowering yourself. And now we have this card here, accept love. I feel like there's so many messages within this one card. It is summarizing a lot of what we've talked about, but also with this acceptance of love. I feel like Spirit is saying, please accept the loving messages that we share to you. Please accept our guidance, and please accept the idea that we do want the best for you. And even if it doesn't feel like we're sending you signs or synchronicities, or, you feel lost or disconnected from us, or you don't understand when things feel outside of your control, or, you try to do what you think is the right thing or what you should do and it doesn't work out, and then you feel punished by Spirit. Spirit is saying, no, like that's all redirection. We love you. We want the best for you. We're trying to help you. And really, sort of the deal here is we don't want you to settle. And so why would we give you happiness, or why would we make things smooth or easy for you when we know you have chosen a path where you are settling, where you are accepting less than what you deserve, when it's not really filling up your cup, when you're not really emotionally fulfilled? Why would we do that? Why would we give you comfort in situations, connections, lifestyles? Like, why would we give you comfort in something where we know you chose something that you really, in your heart of hearts, did not want to choose? Why would we give you comfort in that? No, we're going to push you out of that path, redirect you. And you may not always like how we redirect you, but we're going to redirect you to a path that is in alignment with your soul's purpose, that's going to emotionally fulfill you, because that's what you deserve. We're essentially not trying to co-sign you being on a path that's not of your highest good, that isn't going to emotionally fulfill you. We don't want you to settle for less, and we want you to believe that you deserve the very best for yourself. We want you to have that awakening, and we want you to have that level of self-love and that understanding of self, because you have to know yourself really well, right, to make the best possible decisions for yourself. And some people lack that self-awareness. Now, I'm not saying you're not self-reflective, but I think that you just sort of trick yourself or talk yourself into things because you have that sense of obligation, or you want someone's approval, or you want to appear as if you're someone who makes like practical decisions. You don't want to seem impulsive, or you don't want to take a risk or take a leap of faith and fail and be embarrassed, which I think is, human nature. I think that's very understandable. And I've definitely have personally been there myself. And notice the little kitty cat at the bottom here and how it's pawing through this box of chocolates. I think, how they have that quote, I think it's Forrest Gump, right? Like, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Something like that it goes. But I'm sorry, the cat is being so loud upstairs. She does this when she wants like second breakfast. But anyway, so I feel like Spirit is trying to say with this particular symbol here that redirection is scary. Trying out a different path is scary. Following your heart, easier said than done, right? Like, so many of us actually do know like what we truly would love to do, or we want to follow our heart and take a chance on a certain relationship or a certain opportunity, but we get scared, right? And so a lot of times we play it safe. But Spirit is saying, like, this is the nature of life. This is the deal. You pick a chocolate, right? The one that is calling out to your heart, and you don't know what the filling is going to be like till you bite into it, Maybe you're someone who doesn't like the little cherry chocolates. Maybe you think those are gross and you're hoping it's toffee or caramel. I don't know. But you don't know, right? You have to take that chance. And so Spirit is saying, like, we acknowledge here that this is a difficult process. However, it's best to accept that this is how things go, because this is the nature of life. And you have to sort of accept that. You have to roll with it. This is life. You have to participate. These are the rules, or this is how the game works. So either you play or you don't play. And so you can play it safe all day, but are you really truly going to be happy from playing it safe? And Spirit is saying, this is part of you developing a stronger relationship with us, is having this level of trust and knowing if your heart is calling you towards something, it's because it's meant for you. What you love wants to love you back. And so we do have to follow our hearts, and we have to be very attuned to that. Because sometimes when we think we're following our heart, we're really following our ego, and we're making fear-based decisions. And so, it's coming from a place of anxiety. And so we have to really be able to ascertain when it's our ego talking, when it's our intuition talking, when it's our heart talking, when it's our mind talking. We have to be able to sort of sort through those different voices, or those different sort of urges that we get, right? Because I think it's very much in human nature to go back to, or to revert back to, what is comfortable or what is known. That's why you see, like, for example, people going back to their ex, because even if they weren't happy with their ex, it's the devil that they know. Or this is why you see people staying in dead-end jobs, because to take an opportunity and to try to find a different job, or to quit and leave and try to find something else, it's like, is it going to be worse than my current situations? And so a lot of times we stay with the devil that we know, and so we stay in a level of unhappiness because at least we know this level of unhappiness is somewhat tolerable. Even if it's not fully sustainable, it's somewhat tolerable, and we don't want to put ourselves in a worse position, and that's that lack mentality. But notice also how the witch here is brewing sort of like a love potion. And so I feel like Spirit is also saying with this card, sow seeds of like good intention, speak positive affirmations, like a sense of optimism is only going to serve you well. If you're really pessimistic, you get what you put out, right? And then not only that, but sometimes we make ourselves so miserable, so anxious about the future and things that haven't even happened yet. And you know what they say, even if your anxieties are confirmed and what you fear does happen, you've only made yourself suffer twice. And if it doesn't come to pass, you've made yourself suffer unnecessarily. So it just doesn't serve you, right? And now we will wrap up your reading with a spirit cat message. I love these cards so much. It's one of my favorite decks. And don't mind me like covered in cat fur. Okay, we have meditation. Meet Chutney. One day after a particularly deep meditation, he began to radiate and float. He loves to simultaneously be fully present in his body and his spirit. By simply closing his eyes and observing his breath, he is able to feel what is truly going on within himself. Each subtle sensation becomes vivid with its own unique texture and energy. His mind is like the wide open sky, and his thoughts are like clouds floating by. He watches them arise and dissipate without judgment. Practice with Chutney and watch your awareness brighten until life itself becomes a moving meditation. That's one of my favorite phrases, like let life be a moving meditation, or let life be a moving prayer. Essentially, like walk in your faith here, sit in your faith. When you have nothing else, you will always have your faith. And this whole idea of watching your thoughts go by and dissipate like clouds floating by, it's actually a therapeutic technique. It's called leaves on a stream. That's pretty commonly used, I think, in therapy. You can use different imagery, but essentially, if you have a thought, especially if it's a negative thought, sort of visualize it as a leaf on a stream floating peacefully by you, and you just watch it go. And so sometimes, when we have negative thoughts or anxious thoughts or unwanted intrusive thoughts, we feel so guilty about it. And that's where toxic positivity kind of comes in. We feel so guilty about it, we beat ourselves up, and that's even worse than like the original thought. And then that can send you on like a negative thought spiral about yourself. And so the idea is just to remember that thoughts are not facts, and just to, we have so many thoughts throughout the course of a day. It's good to be mindful of your thoughts, but don't monitor your thoughts to the point to where you're beating yourself up if you have an unwanted, like I said, negative thought. And I also think, if there was any sort of clarity that you feel like you still don't have, meditation or some sort of exercise where you sit and you notice your breath would be really, really helpful. It's funny because I just started my first childbirthing class, so it's like a series of 4 classes that I'm doing. Also, look in your area. If you're watching this and you're pregnant, look in your area, because I found one through a local hospital that's virtual and free, and it's pretty detailed. It's 4 2-hour classes, and they also have a separate breastfeeding course, so this is just a separate kind of thing. Your reading is done. But I know some people pay like hundreds of dollars for their childbirthing class, and like I said, this one's totally free. So look up resources, because if you can save money, why not? But anyway, yeah, I was reminded of that because we were doing a breathing exercise to sort of help prepare for the pain of childbirth. And I tried it out last night when I was actually having like really bad acid reflux, which is, a symptom of pregnancy. And it worked. It really worked. And so, yeah, just wanted to pass that along, that breathing techniques, usually not my jam, but they do work for sure. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Hi Group 2, welcome to your reading. Like I was telling group 1, my neighbors have been doing construction on their home, so I haven't been able to film because of the noise. Today it's raining, so their crew isn't outside. So you guys might hear the sound of the rain. I'm hoping that it's not too distracting, but I thought I would take advantage of the fact that I don't have construction next door today to film. So your topic for the reading today is clarity on any sort of situation in your life that you're asking about. Now, some of you may just need clarity in general. In general, you feel lost, and that's okay too. Just remember it is a general reading, and I think especially with a topic like this, you have to use more discernment because everyone's asking about something different. So, maybe not every single message here is for you, but definitely here we will get some answers about what you're inquiring about. So we have the Page of Wands, we have the Wheel of Fortune, we have the Ten of Pentacles, we have Pillar of Light, your vibration is rising, you are the Oracle, and we have Antelope Spirit, life is speeding up. I really love the story that your tarot is telling here. Like with the Page of Wands, it's making me think of someone who is trying to make it big in a field that it's really hard to make it, or in a town or a city that it's really hard to make it in. You know how people have a dream and a couple $100s and a bus ticket and they go to Hollywood and they're trying to make it, and it's like, this is a city, a place that will spit you out. They're trying to make it happen in LA, and they want to be an actor or a model or a singer, and they have these big dreams, and sort of the stereotype or the trope of like being from a small town and moving out to California and trying to make a name for themselves. I want to see my name in lights, that kind of thing. And they're hoping to get their lucky break, or people who move to New York City and they want to be on Broadway, or they want to publish their novel. They're trying to make it big. And especially here with like the Ten of Pentacles, like I'm trying to make a name for myself, I'm trying to make my fortune, I'm trying to have a legacy, and I'm just taking a leap of faith. And it's something where you can work really hard and still never make it. Like, I need my lucky break. I'm hoping the stars align. I accept that this is partially outside of my control, but still, like, I believe in myself, and I believe I have what it takes, and I believe I'm meant for this. You have to believe you're meant for it, because you're hoping the wheel of fortune spins in your favor, and this is what you're meant for. So the universe is going to make it happen for you, that kind of thing. It's that sort of energy. And Pillar of Light, your vibration is rising. You are the Oracle. Like, I am predicting this. I am saying that this thing I want in my life, or this person I want in my life, or this place I want to be, I'm speaking it into existence. I'm saying this is going to happen for me. And I believe that I have something special. Even though I'm the Page of Wands, I'm not the king or the queen. I haven't made it yet, but I believe I have that potential to make it. I believe I can be a star. I believe that, life will sort of bend to my favor here. And so the clarity here that's coming through is almost like Spirit saying, you're not crazy. People may look at you and say you're not being realistic, or your head's in the clouds, or even that you think too highly of yourself. Like, who are you to say that you deserve that, or that you're good enough, or that you deserve that, or that you were meant for that? How dare you have the audacity to think that you have that kind of potential? People may encourage you to be more practical, or say, essentially like, are you sure that you're good enough? Are you sure that you're capable of that? And I feel like with the Page of Wands, like, The beauty about the Page of Wands is that they have the bravado, even if they don't truly feel confident, they can talk the talk. Even before they're sure they can walk the walk, they'll talk the talk. The Page of Wands is brave enough, impulsive enough to just say yes, to just go for it, to just do it, to just take action without having it all figured out. That's the beauty of the Page of Wands, that at least the Page of Wands is going to do something. They're not just going to sit and plan, or wish, or dream, or hope, and never do anything about it. The Page of Wands is going to take action. And I think the clarity here is that what you're speaking into existence for yourself is actually going to do just that. It's going to come to fruition. If you keep speaking it, if you keep trying to manifest it, if you keep putting inspired action, because that's the Page of Wands too, taking inspired action, not just action, but inspired action, following your intuition, following the guidance of spirit, life is going to speed up for you with this antelope spirit. It's going to happen. And I think it's one of those situations where it can look like overnight success from the outside, but people don't see the time and effort it took to get to that point. And so it's like you can hustle in something. You can try at something for so long. And then you get a lucky break. The wheel spins in your favor and you get a golden opportunity. And then you have what looks like to other people overnight success. Even though all of this time and effort has been put into trying to get to this place where the wheel spins in your favor. And so with the Ten of Pentacles here, like, you are going to have that abundance. You are going to have that security. And even see how these people here are sort of looking behind the curtains. The ringmaster is sort of spying on this man, and he has all of his pentacles. You're the underdog in this fight, for sure. Like, nobody would bet on you, the Page of Wands. Nobody's out here putting money on the Page of Wands saying the Page of Wands is going to be successful. The Page of Wands is going to do what they say they're going to do. People don't take a Page of Wands very seriously. They don't. But you're going to prove them wrong. And you're going to prove it to yourself that you weren't crazy. That feeling that you had in your gut that you were meant for this was 100% right. The wheel doesn't spin in your favor if you're not meant for something. This is your soul's calling. This is how you were meant to make your fortune. And when I say fortune, mind you, the Wheel of Fortune isn't talking necessarily about money, although it could be. But what would fortune look like to you? Like, what are you asking about here? Are you asking about a certain status, a certain level of fame, recognition, acclaim, legacy? Are you asking about love, connection? What are you asking about here? That's your fortune. What would make you feel fortunate? What would make you feel abundant? What are you trying to speak into existence? And when you do make this happen for yourself, and you will, with the assistance of spirit, because, fate is on your side. And we always say fate, favors the brave, right? Favors the bold. And so don't feel bad that you're a Page of Wands because in this situation, because when it comes to the Page of Wands, that's the energy that's going to serve you best. Because you do need to be brave. You do need to be bold. Even in the face of adversity, even up against odds that it doesn't look like you'll overcome. It's like a Mighty Mouse, like you're doing it. You're the underdog. And people love the story of an underdog. When I look at your cards, group 2, I want to root for you. I want to see you win. And that's how Spirit looks at you. Like, we want to see you win because you're brave enough. And some people may say stupid enough, but I always say bravery in the moment looks a lot like stupidity. It's only after the fact, with hindsight, and someone is actually successful, that we call it brave. And that's always the most unfortunate thing, right? Is that people don't necessarily believe in you or support you when you're trying to make something happen, but then want to congratulate you when you have made it happen. It's like, well, could have used this support when I was in need of it. Could have had, some encouragement along the way. A little bit of faith in me would have been nice, but okay, all right. That might happen. But yeah, I think this energy is going to serve you best because you need to be that. You need to be brave enough to make the reckless decision, to make the impulsive decision, to take a chance, to take a risk, to take a leap of faith. That's the Fool card, right? In the Major Arcana. Card 0, the Fool's journey is the hero's journey. We call the Fool in the beginning, but by the end of it, they're the hero. That's the story. And so Spirit is rooting for you. They want to see you accomplish this. And again, like, you're not crazy for wanting this, and you're not crazy or wrong or stupid for believing in yourself. You're not. And here we have affirmation for growth. And we've talked about this sort of a little bit already, right? With speaking positive intentions, speaking this into existence. We tapped into that energy with that Pillar of Light card. And also, when you reach this point of accomplishing what you set out to do, doing something that no one thought you could actually do, that in and of itself raises your vibration, because then you are a source of inspiration to other people. Remember how I said everyone loves the story of an underdog. And so with this affirmation for growth, I feel like Spirit is saying a big part of this is you speaking this into existence, you believing in yourself, and you showing up. And just like a gardener tends to their garden, you're nurturing these seeds of intention. So how do you do that? You take that inspired action, you put in the work, you act as if you are already a person who has succeeded at what you wanted to do. So if you say, let's go back to our original example, you want to be an actor. You embody that then. You walk like someone who has many successful movie roles, TV show roles under their belt. You walk like that into a room. You walk with confidence. You walk like a successful person. You show up as someone who, on a casting call, you need me, you want me, not the other way around. You know how they say, and this is so true, whether it is in your professional life or in your love life, I'll give both examples. But let's say you go into a job interview. You will be so much more confident, so much calmer. You'll seem so much more put together, self-assured. If you go into that job interview with the mindset of, do I want to work here? This interview is for the purpose of me determining if this is a good fit for me. Don't walk into that job interview like you have something to prove to them. Walk into that job interview like you are trying to figure out whether this is a good fit for you and for the employer. Is this going to be a good working relationship between the both of us? Because if you go in there with this desperate energy of like, please hire me, then it seems like they're doing you a favor, right? When really, I'm sure you have a lot of skills and expertise and knowledge and probably a great personality that would benefit that position and their team. And so it benefits you to go into it with an attitude of like curiosity almost, like let's figure out whether this is going to be a good fit for me and for them. Same thing in your love life. If you go out on a date with somebody and it's your first date and you have this energy of desperation of like trying to make them like you or trying to prove yourself to them like you would be a good romantic partner, hoping that they're attracted to you, or trying to sort of mold yourself into what you think they want, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because even if they ask for a second date with you, even if you get into a relationship with that person, you haven't been your authentic self. And so you have set yourself up for failure. You just postponed the failure. It's gonna lead to a breakup. You don't know if you're truly compatible with that person because they don't know the real you. And you put yourself in a position where you have that energy of desperation and like, please like me, please like me. And so then like, you have sort of given your power over to them. Now they get to judge you, when it would benefit you more to go into that situation and ask yourself, is this person compatible with me? Do I even like them? Because a lot of times we project onto people and we sort of create a false narrative about who someone is. And so you're like desperately trying to get someone to fall in love with you or like you, and you don't even know who they are. Not really. Not before a first date. And so it's taking away that energy of desperation, acting as if. You need to act as if you are already this successful version of you that has already achieved what you believe you are meant to achieve. You need to act as if you are already that person. And nobody is better equipped to act as if than the Page of Wands. Because remember, they have that bravado. Even if deep down in their bones, they don't have true self-confidence yet, because they haven't made it, they're going to act like they do. And so I really feel like Spirit is saying, you are on the right track with this. You are. And what you believe you're meant to do, you are meant to do it. Now, given this affirmation for growth card, is it overnight growth? No. Is it overnight success? No. Remember, it may look like that to other people when you get that lucky break, but you've been sowing these seeds of intention for a minute before you get that lucky break. You know, there's seasons for planting, and there's seasons for nurturing that growth, and there are seasons for harvest. And so know which season you're in. And that's going to help you have the sort of tenacity and drive it's going to take to get to this point where you have that lucky break. And now we will wrap up your reading group 2 with a Spirit Cat message. It says, Magic Maker, meet Lynx. She is a sorceress, a shaman, and a witch cat. She is the part of you that creates a magical brew of intention and action. Oh, this is so perfect because we literally have affirmation for growth. We've talked about positive intentions and affirmations and speaking things into existence. And then with the Page of Wands, we talked about taking inspired action. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had to pause for a second because that's so perfect. Okay. She is the part of you that creates a magical brew of intention and action that results in manifestations beyond your wildest dreams. She can usher in deep healing and revolutionary transformations. Turn inward, connect to the powerful current of your life force, and conduct that energy into creations for the good of all. You have everything you need within you. Don't hold back. The world needs your magic. Claim your place at the table of dreamers and magic makers. Links will meet you there. Right, you have something to offer. You have something to bring to the table. Remember how we used the job interview example and the first date example? You have something to offer, so don't have this energy of desperation. Walk as if you have already made it happen, because your manifestation, what you're hoping for, this lucky break, will come to pass. And what you believe you are meant for, you are fully meant for. And yes, you are a dreamer with the Page of Wands and this Pillar of Light card. But just because you're a dreamer doesn't mean you won't see your dream realized. Your dreams don't have to stay just dreams. Beautiful. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Last but not least, welcome to your reading. I will say, if you hear any background noise, I am sorry for that. My neighbors have been doing construction, and today it's raining outside, so they don't have their crew. And so I thought I would take advantage of the fact that they're not doing construction next door to film. However, you may hear the sound of the rain, but hopefully it's atmospheric if you do hear it and it's not too distracting. Okay, what we're looking at today is what you need clarity on. And so you may come into this reading with a specific question that you want answered. Others of you might just be feeling lost or directionless in general. Regardless, just use your discernment here, because all of you could be asking about different things. So maybe not every single message will resonate or apply to your particular situation. But just as always, use your discernment, and remember it is a general reading. But let's go ahead and get into it. We have Justice, we have the Two of Cups, the Hierophant, Coyote Spirit, trust in divine detours, protection, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. One thing I will say for you, group 3, I had the number 2 on my mind. One thing I will say for you, group 3, 2 right now, the number 2 is a lucky number for you and a very significant one. And I would even say pay attention, to angel numbers. If you see repeating 2s, pay attention to that, but also pay attention to anything that comes in pairs or any 2 events or things that happen consecutively. So let's say if someone sends you 2 text messages back to back, or if you see 2 red cars go by, like anything that happens in pairs could be a sign for you, or things that come in 2. So just remember that. I'm not sure what that's referring to, but Spirit is saying there is something significant about that in relation to the clarity that you are seeking here. Okay, now beyond that, I almost feel this energy with your group where you're very torn, because group 1 and group 2 had very direct messages, whereas with you, group 3, the feeling is a lot more murky. There's this feeling of confusion, of feeling maybe torn between different people or different things, different paths, and just this feeling of like, I have to sort of separate myself from the outside chatter because I don't know where I'm going to get what's fair or what I deserve or what I have earned. There's just this feeling of like, I need to protect myself from outside forces because I need to get clear about where I need to go. I need to find my truth. I need to find a place where I have balance in my life, where I am living honestly, authentically, as myself, where I feel like I have a sense here that my wishes or what I've hoped for is actually going to be realized. I don't want to settle, or I don't want to have second best, or I don't want to have these breadcrumbs. I want to get what is owed to me, what I deserve. And so Spirit is coming through here to say, you may feel right now a bit pushed around by life. You may feel like life has dealt you a bad hand. You may be unhappy with certain external things that are going on in your life that are outside of your control. You may feel this sense of like, almost like life is bullying you a little bit. Like, why can't I get a break? Like, why are things so tough? Or why do I keep encountering this same type of person or this same kind of energy in my life? And so there's almost like this feeling of retreating into yourself, of trying to call back your power, of protecting yourself, because it has just felt like life has been too difficult. And I think for a big part of you, it's like, if this is the divine plan, what is the purpose behind it? Like, I don't get it. There's this feeling of confusion about how in the world could this be a part of the divine plan? Like, how in the world could I have been meant to go through these things? Because it feels like you're being punished. It feels like, why am I so unlucky? Or like, why are things so hard for me? And it's not like self-pity. It's not like feeling sorry for yourself, but more of like almost a sense of exasperation. Like, no matter how hard I try, I just feel like I can't move forward, or I can't get out of this. Or again, like, I just keep meeting the same jerk with a different face, you know, like whether it's in your workplace or your love life or in friendship, there's just this feeling of like exhaustion and feeling like you put so much into things to get nothing back. And it's like, when am I going to have, you know, with the 2 of Cups and Justice here, like, when am I going to have some fairness? I see other people doing half as much as I do, Or I see other people who maybe aren't kind or like the best person living a better life than me. And like, I'm just trying to figure this out. Why don't I get better? Because surely I deserve better. And I think there's nothing wrong with that attitude. But Spirit is saying here, we get it. Like, there is an acknowledgement here. There is some validation of like, we understand why you're so exasperated. We understand why you're so confused. We understand why you feel lost, why you feel protective over yourself, why you're having trouble trusting us. We get it. However, we need you to trust. We need you to trust in the divine detours. Because the idea here is, yes, we're sending you down paths, or you know how they say like side quests? we're sending you down the sort of meandering way, and you're like, why can't I get to the shortcut? And Spirit is saying essentially like, because you're not meant for the shortcut. Your soul is meant to go the long way about things. Yes. Your soul incarnated to learn certain things and to experience certain things. And we need you to trust us. When we send you on a detour, it's for a reason. We're not just messing with you for the sake of messing with you. And we can't get you to what you fully deserve. We can't get you to your authentic path without you going down these detours. So let's give some examples to give some context, because I feel like this might be hard to understand unless we give some context. So let's say this is maybe referring to your love life. Let's say you're asking about your love life and you're like, why do I keep meeting people and, having people who are drawn to me, who are liars and cheaters? Why do I keep attracting liars and cheaters? I've done so much healing. I've done so much inner work. I'm trying here. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheater. I don't understand why I keep attracting this energy. And so Spirit is saying here, well, maybe you were meant to go through certain levels of heartbreak here to teach you, maybe to trust your own judgment, your own intuition, because, a lot of times when we're in romantic partnerships, we see the red flags, intuitively we sense them, but we talk ourselves out of it. We don't trust our gut, or, really manipulative people can make us second guess ourselves. And, people who cheat tend to be manipulative. And so you are meant to go through that so that you can develop a backbone and so that you can trust yourself better and trust your judgment. And sometimes in life, you have to experience the contrast of what you don't want so that you know what you do want. And not only that, but sometimes we have to experience the contrast of what we don't want so that when we get what we do want, we're appreciative of it and we don't take it for granted and we're grateful for it. Same thing if we're talking about your career. Maybe you have to experience some not so great job situations so that you can identify what field of work is going to bring you the most emotional fulfillment and the most, like financial security and all of that. And I've been there, I've definitely have complained about jobs and then not realized how lucky I was until I got into a situation that was much, much worse. And I'm like, man, I really should have appreciated. Sorry, I'm tripping up on my words. I should have appreciated what I used to have, because now I see what it's like, to have a certain kind of supervisor or a certain kind of work dynamic or work environment or, whatever, where you feel like you're working so hard and you're not being compensated or whatever the case. And so sometimes, we have to go through those things so we will appreciate and value when we do get to the best thing. And so with the Hierophant here, this is the teacher. I feel like Spirit is saying, that's your answer. We're trying to teach you. You may not like how we're trying to teach you these things. And yeah, maybe you're having to learn the hard way, or maybe you're having to go about, finding what you do deserve the long way, but it's going to be essentially like the best path for you. Even if it's not the fastest path, it's still the best path. I feel like this is a difficult message to receive. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like compared to the other two groups, this is like a bitter pill to swallow. Like, life is not on your timeline, essentially. Like, Spirit is saying, we're not doing things according to your timetable, and we need you to trust us. And I remember one time I was having a conversation with someone, and they were very upset because they just felt like they were a certain age and they're, having difficulty saying, I should have reached certain milestones. And I think that happens to all of us at some point or another, where we feel like we should be married by this age, we should have children by this age, we should graduate school by this age, we should own our own home by this age, we should have traveled by this age, whatever the case. And then when we don't hit those markers, we beat ourselves up, we compare ourselves to other people, and we say, why are we so far behind? And I remember telling them, you may not feel like you have everything you want right now, or you haven't achieved everything you have wanted by now, but you also haven't made mistakes that are difficult to undo. So for example, let's say if you're feeling bad because you're not married yet, being single, or even dating someone or being in a relationship with someone that you're not happy with is still better than being married and being miserable. Because when you're married and miserable, now the law is involved. You gotta legally separate. You gotta divide your assets. Divorce is not cheap. It's not as simple as moving out or walking away or sending a text and ending it, right? There's other things involved. It's a longer process to divorce. And so, same thing, like if you feel bad that you haven't gotten your degree yet because maybe you keep changing your major. Well, it's better for you to keep changing your major, and maybe that's costing you money and time, but better than you going and getting a degree that you don't want to use because you don't want to work in that field, and then you got to go back to school or reformulate a whole different life plan, and then you have student debt for a degree you're never going to use. It's a whole thing. And so, sometimes it's better to still be in the process of something. And so I feel like Spirit is saying, we're taking you the long way about it. Yes, you're having to experience a lot of side quests, a lot of detours right now, but they're divinely guided detours. You're meant to go through these detours. And we're not trying to punish you. We're trying to teach you. And we don't want you to feel disempowered. We're trying to put you in a space where you feel aligned with your soul's purpose. And yes, that's taking some time. Yes, you're going to feel off balance for a while. Yes, you're going to feel like you have less than what you deserve, but that's the whole point of the journey, is to get you to where you deserve. So now with this prayers and wishes card, this is quite straightforward, I will say. Spirit is saying, yeah, keep wishing, keep hoping, keep dreaming, because yeah, we're sending you on these detours, but we're helping you refine what it is that you're wishing for and what it is that you're asking for. Because sometimes we wish for things that really, if Spirit were to grant us our wish, we wouldn't be happy. Sometimes because we don't have that true connection to our soul, we don't have this true knowledge of self. We wish and hope for things that are actually beneath us, are not in alignment with us, or are less than what we deserve, and we don't even realize it. And so sometimes Spirit doesn't give you what you want in that moment, not as a punishment, but as an act of kindness. We don't always give you what you ask for, because what you ask for sometimes is really, really terrible for you, and you just don't know it. You know, you might have a crush on somebody and you think they would be the perfect partner for you, but Spirit knows better. Because they have a higher perspective than what we have. And sometimes we don't really know ourselves, especially when we're young. We have to go through this process of self-development and self-discovery. Sometimes what we think we want is not actually what's going to fulfill us. And sometimes it's even the opposite of what we think that we want that's going to bring us the most emotional fulfillment. I remember, just to give an example here, I remember when I was younger, I thought I 100% never wanted to be married, never wanted children, wasn't into it. And then certain life circumstances happened. I grew up, I learned certain things about myself. And it was actually having my cat, Gracie, that really showed me, wow, I get the most emotional fulfillment from nurturing something. And I love taking care of her, genuinely love taking care of her. And I like being her mom. And the level to which I love my cat is a bit ridiculous. But I can only imagine how much I'm going to love my son when he's born, and how much I already love him now. And so that if you had told me this when I was in my teenage years or even my early 20s, I would have said you're crazy. I would have laughed you out the room if you tried to tell me how badly I was going to want to be a mom someday. I would have laughed you out of the room. I wouldn't have heard it. I would have just laughed. And so it really is true. I think for you, it's about gaining wisdom over the years, learning about who you are, coming into this awareness of self through these divine detours. And keep wishing, keep hoping, keep praying. And it's almost like this process of refining those wishes, refining those prayers, so that they are in alignment with what is of your highest good. And when you have that place of self-discovery, where you are wishing for something, and Spirit is saying, that's of their highest good, they finally figured it out, they are in alignment with their soul's purpose, what their soul came here to experience, that's the wish that we're going to grant. That's when you're going to have that moment where the sun is coming up, where you see your wishes and your prayers answered, you see them realized. It's not going to happen until you ask for something that is actually meant for you, of your highest good, and is genuinely, authentically going to bring you that emotional fulfillment, and is in your truth, and is what you deserve. Because I think a lot of the times you ask for things, or you hope or you wish for certain things that aren't ultimately in alignment with that. And again, it may not come to fruition on your timetable, but just because it's not happening when you want it to happen doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. Okay, and now we will wrap up your reading with a message from your spirit cat. We have Mischief. Meet Jasper. He is a playful little trickster known to pounce on toes while you're sleeping and possibly tiptoe across your computer while you are trying to work. There is a twinkle of mischief in his eyes that you can't help but love. He reminds us not to take things too seriously. Sometimes the biggest disasters can seem funny when you look at them through Jasper's eyes. He is lighthearted. He is laughter, giggles, and sighs. And yes, he really did need to steal a little sip out of your drink when you were looking the other way. This is a really cute message because I almost feel like this is the energy of spirit in your life right now. Like you feel like the universe is messing things up, almost like antagonizing you or like irritating you. And you're like, this is serious. Like, come on now. I need my life to be together. And spirit is trying to like push you down these detours that you have no interest in. And so it's like this antagonistic push and pull between you and your spiritual team. And spirit is saying like, just roll with it. Have fun. Stop taking things so seriously. Stop worrying so much about when something's going to happen or how it's going to happen or if it's going to happen. Like life would be so much easier if you let your guard down, put your walls down, and let us guide you. Let us help you. And I think stop resisting maybe some of the lessons that spirit wants to teach you. You know, I feel like stop forcing things to go exactly according to your plan and your timetable, and just kind of flow with life and have fun with life. And remember, that's a big part of this human experience, is having fun. I think that that's part of the disconnect too, is that you haven't felt that lighthearted energy in a long time. And I think it's much needed. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading.